Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. Today we are talking about a very important topic, actually two topics, 3-point estimates and PERT. And I've clubbed them together and you will, if you see the video till the end, you will understand why I have done so. Now, these two are very important and very popular topics. These two have formulas and calculations involved. The questions that you will get around these topics in the exam will involve calculations, and trust me, they are going to be very easy calculations. If you watch this video till the end, you will master 3-point estimates as well as PERT, and you won't be scared of calculations at all. All right, let's get ahead. So first of all, before we dive into 3-point estimates, I'd like to remind you that we have already covered two other estimation techniques. One was analogous and the other one was parametric. I'll share a link in the description of this video, which is basically the playlist of all the estimation techniques. So do check that out. By the way, before proceeding, if you are into reading, if you would rather read about parametric estimating or analogous estimating, or even 3-point estimates as well as PERT, I'll share a link in the description. Actually, the first link in the description is going to take you to the text version of this video. It'll take you to an article which is about 3-point estimates and PERT. All right, moving on. So 3-point estimate is unique in the sense because it is a collaborative estimate. Both analogous as well as parametric are do not basically have provisions, and they are not collaborative methods. 3-point estimate is a collaborative method. How is that possible? It's possible because you basically ask your team members to provide three values. One is a pessimistic estimate, the other is an optimistic estimate, and the third one is a most likely estimate. So if you have 15 members in your team, you can ask all 15 of them to provide their pessimistic, optimistic, and most likely estimates. Or you can also ask 5 of them each to provide pessimistic values, the other 5 to provide optimistic values, and the last 5 to provide most likely estimates. That way, you can come up with an estimate by basically doing a simple average, which is the 3-point estimate, right? So you will come up with one estimate, which is the average of the three values that you have received from your team members. All right, now the formula for 3-point estimates is quite simple. It is simple average actually. So E is equals to O plus M plus P divided by 3. E here is estimate, O is the optimistic value, M is the most likely value, and P is the pessimistic value. So you add O, M, and P and you divide it by 3. Do note that this is also known as triangular distribution. It is very important that you know the different names of the same concept, because sometimes in the PMP exam they'll give you three values and they'll ask you to calculate triangular distribution. Now if you don't know that triangular distribution is same as 3-point estimates, even if you know the formula for 3-point estimates, but if you don't know that 3-point estimates and triangular distribution are one and the same thing, you'll not be able to answer the question. You'll not be able to apply this formula and answer this question. That is why it is important to know the different names of the same concept, and it will be definitely helpful in your PMP exam. Now, this technique can be used for both cost as well as duration. So in the previous slide, when I told you that you can ask your team members to provide values, the optimistic value, the most likely value, and the pessimistic value, these values, they are basically providing in terms of dollars, in terms of cost, or in terms of time, in terms of weeks or days or months or whatever that they want to use, whatever unit that they want to use. Now, it should be noted that 3-point estimates, you can basically estimate the entire project, or you can estimate a WBS component, or you can go as granular as estimating an activity in the WBS, right? So you can either go all in and you ask your team to provide values for the entire project. Give me the most optimistic schedule, the most optimistic time requirement for this project, as well as the most likely estimate, as well as the pessimistic estimate. Or you can go ahead and ask, okay team, we have a project, what are the optimistic, most likely and pessimistic dollar values in which we'll be able to complete this project. Or you can go granular and you can take out an activity from WBS and you can ask these estimates for each activity, and you can add all those activities up and come up with the estimate for the entire project. A quick reminder before we move ahead and talk about PERT. If you are looking for recommendations on what books to buy for your PMP exam, go over to pmclounge.com/resources. We have listed our favorite books, our most recommended books to prepare for PMP. All right, now let's talk about PERT. So PERT stands for Program Evaluation Review Technique. Yeah, quite a mouthful there. So PERT stands for that. Now it is the most common form of three-point estimation. So this is something important. This is the reason why I clubbed three-point estimates and PERT in the same video, because PERT is actually a form of three-point estimation. This is most common, and this is again nothing different from three-point estimation. A quick piece of history here. It was developed jointly by US Navy, Lockheed Martin, and the consulting firm of Booz Allen and Hamilton, working on the Polaris nuclear submarine project during the 1950s. You don't have to learn this. You don't have to remember their names. This is nothing that they will ask in the PMP exam for sure. Now, PERT is one of the most commonly used techniques, used along with the critical path method, or CPM, to estimate the minimum time needed to complete a project. Now, what is the PERT formula? So it is quite similar to the three-point estimate formula, but you can see here E is equals to O plus 4M plus P divided by 6. So here the estimate is equals to optimistic value plus 4 times the most likely value plus the pessimistic value, and all of it divided by 6. Now, this formula is also known as beta distribution. Again, the same logic applies here. Triangular distribution was the three-point estimates, and PERT is your beta distribution. And it is also referred to as the weighted mean or weighted average in certain texts. Now you may wonder, what do we gain by using beta distribution over simple average, right? We just mentioned how PERT is a form of three-point estimation. The only difference here is this 4. We are multiplying the most likely value by 4, and then to take an average, we are dividing the addition of these three values by 6, not by 3. So what do we gain here by multiplying 4 and dividing by 6 instead of dividing by 3 and adding the three values up? What are we gaining here? So basically you are giving more weight. You are multiplying the most likely value by 4. Now this is of course going to increase the overall accuracy of the estimate, because you are considering, you're giving weight, you are adding the most likely value 4 times. You are multiplying it by 4, so that the entire estimate that comes out, the resultant, is more towards most likely estimate. It is more inclined towards the most likely estimate. Now, in most cases, beta distribution has been proven to be more accurate than triangular distribution, right? So beta distribution is actually more accurate, and it has been proven over the triangular distribution. Again, a reminder, beta distribution is PERT, triangular estimation is three-point estimates. So what are some of the advantages of three-point estimation and PERT techniques? Number one is increased accuracy over one-point estimate. So your parametric estimates, your analogous estimates are all known as one-point estimates. They may require padding. Now, what do we mean here? So let me cite an example. So you are a software project manager. Your requirements are baseline. You exactly know what all needs to be coded. Now you go to your development manager and you ask your development manager to provide a duration estimate on the coding requirements. Now, if you ask him for a 1 point estimate, then he may add some padding. Why would he do so? He would do so because of unforeseen risks, because of stuff that he doesn't already know about the project, or because he might think that the project manager eventually will cut down on the schedule and we may not get the time that we are going to quote right now. So he is going to quote to you that I need 2 months and 2 weeks, while in reality he may need only 2 months. The thing is, he is adding an extra padding of 2 weeks just because to cover himself up from the previously mentioned reasons. At the same time, if you go ahead and ask the development manager for three values to provide a most likely estimate, a pessimistic estimate, and an optimistic estimate, the accuracy will be increasing variably because the development manager will then be able to provide you a range for the duration. He doesn't have to provide a fixed number, 2 months and 2 weeks. He may provide you a range. He may say it will take anywhere between 2 months to 2 months and 2 weeks. Better commitment from the project team members. Of course, if the team members are providing the estimate, they will be committed to it. They will be more accountable to it. So if you're doing 1 point estimates, you may not even go to the development manager and you may estimate it yourself based on the parametric and n-logos estimation that we talked about earlier, right? But in 3 point estimate, since you go to the team and you ask for three values, they will be better committed to meet the estimates that they have provided. And finally, the estimates are very realistic because the estimates are in a range. We just talked about range in the first point. So since the estimates are in a range, they account for the risks and uncertainties that every project brings with itself. Let's look into a sample PMP question. You are the software development project manager majorly working on e-commerce websites. On your new project, you are pretty sure that the e-commerce website can be developed in 8 weeks. Okay, 8 weeks. With a most optimistic estimate being 6 weeks and the worst case scenario of 10 weeks. What must the estimate for this project be using PERT? So you have to use PERT here. The options are A, 8 weeks, B, 6 weeks, C, 10 weeks, or D, none of the above. Now here you need to make use of the calculations, make use of the PERT formula. So PERT formula, when you make use of it, it comes out to be estimate is equals to 6 plus 4 into 8 plus 10. Now here 6 was your optimistic estimate, right? 6 was the optimistic estimate. Then you've got 8, which was your pretty sure estimate. This was your most likely estimate. And then you've got 10, which was the worst case scenario, which was a pessimistic estimate. So when you add these up and multiply 8 by 4, you get 6 plus 32 plus 10, which is 48 by 6. The answer comes out to be 8 weeks. So this is the answer. Answer is going to be A, 8 weeks. So that's all that we had in this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned everything that there is about PERT and 3 point estimates. This is good enough for you for the PMP exam, and this is definitely going to help you in the exam. Do hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified, and don't forget to check out the website pmclounge.com, your #1 free PMP resource.